team gets better, and you need that.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you have to answer the question why it didn't go better.
Yeah. Well, isn't their reacting to all of that kind of a signal that they wanted it? They probably wanted it to look a little different. They wanted it to be a little different in that if so many guys individually fell short of their expectation, and that is by what they invested in them, right? Like they gave Samuel a multi-year contract. They put a second-round pick into Coleman. They put a first-round pick into Kincaid. Like their plan was for all three of those guys, especially, to produce more than they did. And had they been right about that, what would it have looked like? We might not be thinking that the pass offense was as much about everybody eats as much as it was that's kind of the placeholder for, if Coleman had popped off and been like a rookie of the year candidate, then maybe it wouldn't be everybody eats. It'd be, no, this is a Coleman, Shakir, and Cook run this show.
Yeah. If is the way you say it like that, first round pick in Kincaid, second round pick in Coleman, second round pick in James Cook even.
Yep.
And they just re-signed Shakir, and they trade for Cooper, who they thought would be a big boost for them. It all lines up to, and again, you say what you say, you do what you do. Their actions point to them thinking these positions are important. And wanting blue chip level guys, I mean, you spend the first pick of the second round at receiver. That's a sweet spot to get guys that make a big difference. So, Coleman ends up being the sixth or seventh receiver taken in the draft, but still, that's not a spot to underfund the position. They went for it. And Kincaid, while that has not exactly popped off from a numbers standpoint, I feel like it's worth pointing out. You can either say it's a defensive Bean, or Bean might be a little, I don't know, defensive makes it sound a little strong here, Joe. What I'm getting at is you have an offense that works. We know that it works, and part of their story about their offense is we don't need really important players, yet the way they acquired them was to treat it like they were all really important pieces.
Right, and when they didn't meet expectation, that's when the guy on a one-year vet minimum contract is the one that's performing. Right, that's when Matt Collins is getting 50 targets on the season and playing all the snaps, is because, your guys that you invested in didn't end up working out the way you wanted. I mean, they were still good enough to be on the field, but that's how Matt Collins gets his, almost 400 yards on the season and 5 touchdowns.
Yep.
Is there was an opportunity for him because the guys that they put investment into, it just wasn't really there. And all this kind of can sound like they had a bad year on offense, which is always the amazing thing, that they set the franchise record for points in a season. But my fear would be that they line up and have similar level results and performances from these guys that we're talking about into next year, when I wonder if you're going to get everything to go the same way. I wonder if you're going to be able to be as clean as you were last year, where you did not turn the ball over at all. Allen didn't throw picks. Cook didn't fumble. The line didn't give up a lot of pressures, and even when they did, Allen got away from it. So you didn't give up sacks. There were no negative plays in this offense at all. And on the line, part of that point has been for 2 years now, that offensive line has stayed completely healthy.
Yeah.
Completely healthy. And the idea that you're going to get all of that to happen year after year, where my line never gets hurt and I never turn the ball over at all, there's probably going to be some, what's the word I'm looking for? They're going to have
adversity. You're looking for regression.
Adversity, really, though. I feel like they're an offense that hasn't faced a lot of adversity because they've played so clean. Yeah. And I just wonder what happens if, you get a couple injuries. Now what? Or there are a few turnovers. Couple breaks don't go your way. You still going to be the level of offense that we just saw?
Maybe. It's tough not to have faith in Allen to run a great offense, and especially the marriage of Allen and Joe Brady. Like it's just been really good. I mean, when Allen and Dable were together, it looked like it worked really well. Like they got each other. That's where Dorsey. What's Dorsey's biggest crime and why he gets fired is because the offense just looked tougher. It was still good. It was just it looked harder.
It looked harder for Josh, especially,
yes,
right? Like Allen turns the ball over a lot because it seemed like he always felt like I have to make something happen because there's nothing here.
Right. Whether it's the wrong scheme or not having enough of a identity or game plan, like that's something that they found with Brady was identity. They know who they are, and Allen throughout the season, I mean, he looked like he was in total command of the offense. So it's just kind of funny. I'm thinking about Allen, his role, Coleman, what we hope for him. There are plenty of Bills fans and the Bills themselves that kind of like to they like to act like. And again, like it's just a little bit of like selling who you are. Hey, Josh can make it work with lower profile guys. Yet, the last 2 years, they have been spending their biggest assets to help him. And not exactly getting the results. And it's the fact that Kincaid has not done that. It's maybe into year 2 of Coleman, we'll see. It's that no one has stepped out and popped that has kind of led to this more organic idea of what Brady and Allen are selling, which is it's okay that we spread it around. That is just a function of, well, no one has really jumped into that role yet. And whether it's injury or chemistry or whatever it is, it's you could say chicken or the egg because why are you in this format? Well, because nobody's popped out. Why has nobody popped out? Well, because you're in this format. And they've definitely spent the capital to do it. So, it's one of the things that would make me, as you say, like no adversity. It's one of the things that would lead me towards somebody really might pop, whether that's, Shakir's kind of already done that. Or if it's Samuel making a big difference this year. Or if it's...
Could be Palmer even.
It could be Palmer. Or if it's Kincaid finally taking the step he's supposed to take.
Right. Yeah, one of those guys being able to do that then does what? It's less spreading the ball around. And they, again, like part of this is they kind of talk like they would like that. Maybe not Allen talks that way, maybe not Brady. Bean even told everyone in the post-game or postseason press conference that, not to say he was against it or anyway, but he told everyone, like, that was a Josh and Joe Brady thing. Like, everybody eats, that whole mantra was Josh Allen and Joe Brady. Like, that's what those two saw the identity of the offense being. That doesn't necessarily mean that's how Bean sees it. Or even McDermott. Because how did those two sound after the year? McDermott is talking all about how they need to be better throwing the ball down the field, which is statistically easy to see, by the way. They throw the ball down the field third most in the league and are one of the least efficient teams at it. So that's not very controversial, but that's how McDermott is answering questions after the year about the offense. And what's Bean talking about? You're going through the list here that we just did, and this is why Coleman didn't do as well as we wanted, and this is why Kincaid didn't do as well as we wanted, and this is why Cooper actually was valuable, even though we didn't really see any numbers, and this is what happened to Curtis Samuel. All four of those guys not meeting expectation, had two of them done it, then, again, like Allen and Brady's Everybody Eats might have been more... It wouldn't have been to the same degree. It wouldn't have been the same, exact thing. I think we would be talking about the offense differently, and we might be more optimistic about the offense going forward, even though, again, their floor is like the fifth best offense in football. They're going to be somewhere between like 1 and 5, 1 and 6 every year. And for me, it's just figuring out how they get to number 1. And going forward, I think you got to have one of these guys pop. 803-0550 is the phone number. CJ in Buffalo is next up. What's up, CJ?
I feel like hey guys, I feel like we're kind of beating around the bush with what our team really is, and I know, and this isn't a down to Brandon Beane. He has a plan, but at one point, I would love for Brandon Beane to go all in on a big name receiver or a big name target. Every year we do the same thing. We fill all the voids before the draft. That way we could draft best player available. But the biggest names we ever picked up was Von Miller. You know how excited we were for Von Miller at the end of his career for the most part? Let's go get somebody like a big name. Myles Garrett was last name guy we talked about. But, like, free agent are guaranteed pieces. The draft is a lottery shoot. Like, you're hoping something's great. We draft traits, and we hope Elam is good. It didn't work out. Cool. But the free agency, you know, if you take them draft picks and trade for somebody that you know is a known commodity or you know exactly what you're getting, why not do it? Why not go for a Surtain, a corner from the Broncos? Not to say they would do it, but just as an example.
When though? When are you asking them to go after a guy like that? In the draft?
No, even if in draft, I would trade for a Hunter. What I'm saying is, let's take a chance, put all the chips in, and say, okay, look, we're always drafting to be ready each year, every year, and be as balanced as a team as we can. Why can't we be the Bengals? I don't know if it's possible. I'm curious to know why we don't take the heavy shot. I know why he's doing it the way he's doing it now, but I want to take the big shot and win now.
I guess I hear what you're saying, but I think a lot of these ideas are like fairy tale ideas. You know, like going up and getting Travis Hunter. Or, like, last year, we talked about them going up into the top 10 and getting Roma Dunze, but what did we hear Bean say on Hard Knocks? That I just don't have the picks.
I can't afford it.
I don't have the ability to go up there. What would you need to give up? You have one thing in your organization that anybody would say yes to go get Travis Hunter, and it's your quarterback. So good luck. You're not doing that.
Right.
I offer anything else. You want to offer the next 2 drafts? Maybe you can get that high. But it's just not realistic. The deal you wanted was the one that didn't happen, which was one of these elite pass rushers for like a first-round pick. And they all stayed. Except for Hendrickson, who I guess still hasn't signed 2 days later.
Yeah, we'll see about Hendrickson, right? Like that's
yeah.
He's again, elite is how many? How many are in the elite? 5? 3?
Yeah, 5 or 6.
Okay. How about the
Parsons? I would include in that too.
The contract for Danielle Hunter.
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
Yeah.
35 for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. For Danielle Hunter.
It's an extension. So it's this year. He was under contract just for this year. They added one more year at $35 million.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
803-0550, our number, 1-888-550-2550. You're on hold. Stick with us. We'll get more calls. We're going to check in with Carl Jones at Channel 4 as well on the Bills and, you know, all this chatter about their draft and that good stuff coming up. So stay tuned. Jeremy and Joe on WGR.
Hey, it's Sneaky Joe DiBiase here. Spring is in the air. Another nice day on the way today. It's the perfect time to refresh and renew. But not just your surroundings, but your spirit too. And we ride the roller coaster of Buffalo weather, get closer to summertime. It's time to do something for your community. At Roswell Park's Donor Center, they are in need of blood and platelet donors. They are especially always in need of platelet donors. Just like the flowers that are blooming, your donation can bring new life and hope to local local cancer patients. Each donation will offer strength to those that are battling for their lives. It's a chance to be a part of their journey and a chance to offer hope when it's needed most. And all the blood and platelet donations that you make at the Roswell Park Donor Center stay right here in Buffalo at Roswell Park. So this spring, give the gift of life, donate blood or platelets at the Donor Center, refresh your own sense of purpose, and help us renew hope for our patients. And of course, it's a very easy process right in the front door on the right. You don't have to go searching around the building, and big comfy chairs. You can play around on your phone while you're doing it. They take care of the parking for you, and the excellent staff will keep you as comfortable as possible throughout the whole process. Please schedule your appointment today. You can call 1-800-ROSWELL or visit their website, roswellpark.org/donate. The Roswell Park Donor Center, where hope blooms. Day one of the NCAA tournament, 12:15 for Louisville and Creighton. That is the first game of the day. And then, of course, plenty of games thereafter all the way through to the final tip-off of the day at 10:10. Yesterday was the final of the first four, final games of the first four. The 11 seed play-in, Xavier beats Texas to move on as the 11 seed. Mount St. Mary's beats American to move on as the 16 seed. The Sabres are in action tonight. It is a 9 o'clock puck drop in Utah, their first ever trip to Utah. And in football, Stephon Diggs visiting with the New England Patriots. He, though, according to Chad Graff, who's reporting about Diggs visiting in New England, says that Diggs may not be ready for week 1 as he's coming back from a torn ACL. Elsewhere in the NFL, Danielle Hunter, 1 year, $35 million extension with the Texans, second highest paid defensive end in football. Those are your Paddock Chevrolet sports headlines. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of business.
This guy's going to play. This guy's going to start. Super comfortable saying this on air. This dude's going to start for a long time in the league. This is not a guy who could be really good if he gets better. I've been doing this for a long time. I don't like comps, but if I gave you comps, they'd be some of the better players in the league. This guy can spin it. I'm a partner at Wilson, and we partnered with the Shrine Bowl this year. So Kyle played in it. We put a chip on the ball. I've been using this technology for years. So we measure the velocity, which is miles per hour, the spin rate, which is RPMs, and the spiral efficiency, which is an algorithm. 100 is a perfect spiral. And we did a throwing session. He's in the 95th percentile of all the NFL quarterbacks we've tested. So we go, okay, he can spin it. And then velocity, he was upper echelon. The other thing is he broke all the ACC passing records.
Sure did.
There's names on that list because I don't think teams see him the way that the media does.
Jordan Palmer on Kyle McCord, Syracuse quarterback, who's in this draft, and his belief that McCord is going to be darn good. Which, I mean,
he wouldn't go as far as to give me a name, though.
Oh, the comps?
On the comps, some of the best in the league. That can mean anything.
The comps for McCord, good morning, Jeremy and Joe. Carl Jones is going to join us in just a moment. The comps on McCord have to be like Eli or...
Eli.
Let's bring Carl in here. Carl Jones of Channel 4 in Buffalo, former Syracuse grad as well. Carl, we just played Jordan Palmer talking about Kyle McCord coming in. No doubt he can make all the throws, and he's an incredible passer. My biggest fear would be, like, he can't move. So is there room in the league for an Eli? That might not be the best comp, but if I'm comping McCord anywhere, he's got to be a guy that doesn't move.
Yeah, that wouldn't be any of his strong suits. I know that when you look at his game, even dating back to Ohio State, you'd be like, oh, he can make the throws, he can stand in the pocket, but you're never going to say, hey, I want him extending plays or with the ball in his hands longer than what the play on the whiteboard is scripted out to be.
Yeah.
Lance Zierlein, NFL.com's comparison for him is a Bills quarterback.
Bledsoe?
Nope.
Trent Edwards?
No, these are who I thought you would guess. Trubisky, though, is the name that he named for him.
Oh, whatever. Anyway, Carl, good morning. We didn't bring you on to necessarily talk about Kyle McCord, but hey, whatever. I mean, it's draft season, and it's interesting to see how this all shakes out. Carl, as we get ready for draft season and we dig into it, we played a clip from Keon Coleman earlier. He laid out what the Bills need. A couple defensive linemen, a couple corners, receiver. If there's a spot you're thinking about that maybe you're more bullish on than everybody else is there one you think people are not giving enough attention to that they need in the draft, like first-round pick?
I think the three spots that everyone is looking at, receiver, D-line, corner, I think the proper energy has been given to those spots. I will say, though, that I haven't really buzzed off of the fact that they need some difference makers up front. And obviously signing Joey Bosa is the ultimate. It doesn't get more boom or bust than that. So obviously I think some people's idea on attacking up front maybe has changed a little bit, but in my eyes it hasn't, just because of how boom or bust of a move it is. So listen, it's not sexy if come in a month where in the late first round the Bills draft the big boy, and then maybe in the second round they do the same. But I think you take a couple swings in that area to see if you can finally solidify that room and change things around, because that is the one room where I think that's the biggest difference come postseason time.
Is there a position you think is not getting enough attention right now that is a possibility for them in the first two rounds at least?
I wouldn't be a fan of it, but I could see them making something at safety. like not first round. Like, and if the board falls a certain way where I don't see Malachi Starks falling that far, I see teams. They made the mistake with Kyle Hamilton, and they made the same mistake 2 years later with Brian Branch, so I don't see them doing it again. But if, God forbid, teams don't wise up on just taking really good safeties early in the first round, I think you take Malachi Starks and just deal with the consequences of a depth chart later. He might be the only one where I'll be okay with them taking a safety in the first round. But I don't think any of the safeties on the roster have precluded or blocked off any early guy from coming in and competing for that spot, like a Malachi Starks. The other guys, like a Imawari or Xavier Watts, I don't think the value is there. But God forbid that teams pull a Brian Branch or Kyle Hamilton again and just overlook the safety position. I'm going to go call Brandon Beane myself and go run the card up.
Yeah, Imawari always seems to be the guy that is talked about as safety because he's a super athlete and he's huge, right? But I don't know, the more I see mocks, you'd have to move up to get him. But that's like the only style I feel like I can even see working where you could convince people or plan on him playing at the beginning of the year as in a bunch of different ways, right? Like how the Ravens have used Hamilton, big nickel, or certain packages while he's not technically a starter behind Bishop and Rapp.
Yeah, because he's something that the Bills have really never had in this Sean McDermott era, where he's a freak athlete, has some instinct that you can utilize a little bit, while Malachi is more of the jack of all trades, in a good way, though. Like, I'm not saying that he's one of those. I know Bills fans don't like hearing the word versatile because Lord have mercy. Oh, my gosh, he can do everything. What is he actually good at? I think Malachi Starks is actually one of those players who is truly good at everything. Imawari is a freak. I know a lot of people give him the Derwin cops. Listen, I played against Derwin James in college, and no disrespect to Imawari, don't think he's that caliber of player, with all due respect. So I think he's a solid player, but once again, safety is more instinctual than anything, and I don't think it's instinct raised to the level to where I feel comfortable taking the first round pick on. Is what I would say.
Channel 4's Carl Jones joining us. As you say that about the instinctiveness and Imawari, the thing about him is his RAS score is off the charts. But then last time we talked about him, I looked up Cole Bishop, who is also an elite athlete. And, Carl, year one for Bishop, maybe it went according to plan. Maybe the Bills are a team that doesn't think a rookie is going to be ready for that spot just yet. Do you think they should feel comfortable just going into the year with Bishop as the idea?
No, but I think that he didn't show anything either way to where you should feel very confident or scared that he should be the day one starter. I think that he showed a couple things on film. I look back at the Patriots game, and obviously the Patriots maybe they weren't their backups, but compared to what they'll see in the postseason times, there was a lot of backup quality players on the field, and it wasn't a big game plan. It was more of a vanilla game plan from the Bills' perspective. I still think Bishop did some good things at the end of the year. Now, the Chiefs game was very up and down still. I know he made a couple tackles and missed a couple as well. So the athleticism is clearly there. He made a nice TBU in the Patriots game where I'm like, yep, that's why they drafted him, because no one else on the roster can make that play in terms of the safety position. And then obviously we all know about the Texans game and not being on the same page with Rasul Douglas. So I do think that he showed enough to where you're like, hey, we'll give this kid a shot, but not enough to where it was like, all right, DeMar and Eric Forrest, you guys are permanently second team, and no matter what happens in the offseason, Cole Bishop is entrenched at the top spot.
We're waiting for a Benford extension. The Bills have been busy getting extensions done, and the defensive back market starting to really climb. Stingley got his deal. It was very big. Do you feel like there's, any nervousness about waiting any longer, that this Benford dollar amount might hit and Bills fans get some sticker shock? Like the fact that it's not done yet, probably an indicator that this is a tougher deal than the first three the Bills have done.
Yeah, but I do think the two players on the horizon won't necessarily affect the Benford deal. You'll have Trent McDuffie, who's going to be up soon, and as well as Sauce Gardner. Both of those players have more accolades than Benford, so I don't think that'll change, per se, Benford's deal. But that is two more players from his draft class that will be up for an extension. So I think that kind of changes, like, hey, man, this is now the third player, big money. I feel like I'm a big money player as well. And Benford's that unique case of, yes, in Western New York, he's known as a very good player, but he's never gotten the national accolades. So how does that work in negotiations? I truly don't know. And I'm not his agent, and I'm not in the rooms with him, but you see what J.C. Horn got at 25 per, and I know it's a lot of funny money in that to make it actually look like it's 25 per, even though it's really not. I wonder if you're Benford's camp, you're like, listen, can we reach a 22 where, like, we don't have the Pro Bowl, we don't have the All-Pro behind us, but you know damn well I'm much better than what Paulson Adebo got from the Giants at 18. Like, I don't want to be near that number. So I think the negotiations are a little tricky, and there's trimming stuff that's going to get done soon, as well as Sauce Gardner. That may throw a little bit of a wrinkle in the negotiations, but not too much in my opinion.
You're a Cleveland guy. Do you have any opinion on the stadium fiasco of them trying to move out of downtown to go to the Dome in the suburbs?
Yeah, it's Cleveland. Like, everything about it is just terrible how things are getting done. In terms of dome or no dome, I'm team dome. I'm soft. Anyone who knows me, I can't stand the weather.
You played at Syracuse.
Exactly. When I committed to Syracuse, you know the first thing I thought of was the fact that I get to play 6-7 games a year in a controlled environment. Let's go. Like, I didn't care about playing down in Miami or Clemson. I cared about the fact that I didn't have to wear long sleeves in November. All jokes aside, though, the biggest thing I think most Clevelanders feel is moving from downtown to the suburbs. And I know all the political fiasco surrounding that with, hey, more money downtown. They never developed the lakefront. I will say, living in Buffalo, my concerns have eased a little bit because Orchard Park is a suburb, so I've gotten to experience a game day not downtown and not on the lake. But you tell a Clevelander that they haven't seen anything in their lifetime outside of Lake Erie. So that's the part where it's a little tough. And I know Jimmy Haslam saying he's going to build this crazy, apartment complex and all these great stuff surrounding the stadium to make it a good game day experience. But it's nothing like going to the Browns game and the lake is right there and the fresh sense of the dirty lake right there as well.
Carl, what should the Browns do at number 2?
Man, it's tough. In my opinion, you take Abdul Carter, and then you come back in the second round and take whatever quarterback you like the best. I just don't think Shadur is that much better than the third or fourth, but I do think Abdul Carter is that much better than edge 5, 6. That's the way I think about it. Is Shadur that much better than quarterback 3 or 4? I don't know. Abdul Carter, don't want to call him Michael Parsons, but golly, he was doing some freaky stuff at that.
Yeah, and then to have Garrett and Carter on the same field, and we'll bring this conversation full circle. Second round, Kyle McCord. How about it?
Oh, keep him in orange.
But here's the thing, though. Last time he was in Ohio, it didn't end well. I think
that's right.
Keep him out of the Ohio bad juju for his sake, because I'm happy for him as a Syracuse fan. And Ohio State fans are happy now considering how their story ended. But it's still some bad blood in the waters that I don't think we need to test anytime soon.
Makes sense. Carl Jones, Channel 4. Carl, thanks again.
No, thank you guys. Have a good one.
Yeah, always a pleasure. Carl Jones, anchor and reporter, Channel 4, Syracuse alum. Yeah, the Browns. It is funny, like that Browns stadium, it's a fly-through. I have my fun complaining the Bills don't have a fly-through. It's part of the point. The Bills stadium is going to happen, and we don't have a fly-through. You can just be the Haslams and be like, you know what? Look at this thing. Look at this concept.
Yeah.
It's not agreed to. It's not, but look at it. It's very nice. Anyway, all right. 803-0550 to join us. It is day one of the NCAA tournament. Day one, finger quotes. The first day where there's a lot of games on, and it's a lot of fun to kind of be a part of it. Jeremy and Joey, give us a ring. Pick of the week coming up, 803-0550 on WGR.
Sneaky Joe DiBiase here for Clinton Collision. A lot of us have got, little dings and stuff that's going on with your car. Maybe you got something more major that's going on, though. Either way, be sure to trust my guys over at Clinton Collision. Whenever my car needs work, that's where I go, Clinton Collision. These guys are the real deal. They bring wrecked cars back to life. Again, if anything major, you got a smashed fender or something more severe, they will work with all insurance companies. So if you happen to be involved in one of the many accidents that happened over the winter as we exit the snow and get to some better weather, call the guys that I trust, Clinton Collision, 716-823-2000, or visit their website, clintoncollision.com.
.5. 4 out of 19 for the night. Worry about anybody underneath the basket. Let it go there. But Heinrich and Lee are the two guys. Heinrich starts inside, goes outside. Heinrich gets it. Heinrich puts up the shot. It's too long, and Syracuse is your national champion.
22 years ago, Joe, and that is in no way pathetic.
22 years?
22 years ago. I mean, not today, but like the tournament 22 years ago.
Yeah. Was that
You want to know who they beat along the way?
Definitely wasn't HD by then.
No. They beat, in order, Manhattan, Oklahoma State.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, wait. Manhattan. Take it back. They take it back. Manhattan, Auburn, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas. I might have switched Auburn and Oklahoma State.
And then they won in New Orleans?
Yes, they beat Kansas in New Orleans. They had a monster lead and tried to give it away. And had they successfully given it away, I can't imagine ever recovering. I mean, everybody's got their sports heartbreaks, and huge lead where how could you lose? You're up 17 points.
Yep.
And they had to hold on for dear life. The entire second half was pacing. Anyway, Syracuse, 22 years ago. Just, I'm just hanging on to it. What do you want from me? I'm hanging on for dear life today.
It's all you got anymore.
It's really all I've got in my sports teams ever winning anything, unless I can, include the Giants when I was 12 because I like the Giants. Sorry, Bills fans. I've said that a lot. I've been upfront about that. I've been honest about that.
Yeah.
But, I was 11 or whatever. I barely remember it. I do remember it, though. 22 years ago, Syracuse.
Yeah, Syracuse and Giants fan right now isn't really loving life.
No.
I don't think. Tough times for both.
It's not great.
for a while now, actually, right?
One very quick story. Pick of the week brought to you by Riverfront Auto Sales. My pick of the week is just this story from there's a report at ProFootballTalk.com. Mike Florio has this, that in talking to Michael McCarthy of FrontOfficeSports.com, there is surprisingly little interest in Aaron Rodgers from media partners. What that means is, hey, would you want to be on TV and be an analyst? And the networks don't.
They don't want it.
No. One unnamed source, quote, he could be a great analyst, but he's insufferable. And another source said he needs an image rehab.
He's insufferable.
Yes. That was a...
I could be friends with this guy, but he's insufferable.
He could be a great analyst, but we can't have him on the television.
But he's insufferable. Just could work for any. He would he'd make a great manager, but he's insufferable.
Yep.
Anything.
He says
he'd make a great player, but he's
in no rush, and the Giants and the Steelers are just going to sit here and be on hold for him forever, I guess.
Until one of them does something.
That's right.
Which they could.
Sign a guy. Yep.
Someone's got to blink.
Yep. All right, 803-0550, 1-888-550-2550 to join us. Jeremy and Joe on WGR. Jeremy White here for FanDuel Sportsbook, official partner of WGR. Big day today in college basketball. There'll be some dogs that win, right? And if you bet on one of the dogs that wins, the dog of the day jackpot could be yours, or part of it could be. FanDuel's turning the excitement even higher for college basketball. Through the first two rounds of the tournament, bet on the lowest winning seed of the day. You win a share of $1 million in bonus bets. That's an upset not to be upset about. So pick your dog and ride and jump on it with FanDuel. It's a money line wager on an underdog. If that underdog wins, you win the bet, of course, but also the lowest winning seed of the day splits a $1 million jackpot with everybody else that bet on that team. Because in March, anything can happen. Visit FanDuel.com/white to download America's #1 sportsbook today and back your dog of the day. 21 plus and physically present In New York, opt-in required, winning pre-live moneyline wager on lowest seed required. Each $1 million jackpot to be split equally among all eligible winners. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com for help with a gambling problem. Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
First day of the NCAA tournament. The men's side gets rolling at 12:15 today with Louisville and Creighton, the 8 and 9 matchup, followed by a 4-13 matchup at 12:40 between Purdue and High Point, and then a bunch of other games, of course, throughout the day. Consistent action all the way through probably till midnight at least with the final games of the day. Yesterday, the final first four play-ins. The 11 seed matchup between Xavier and Texas goes to Xavier. They win by 6 points to reach the tournament. To football, Chad Graff of The Athletic reporting that Stephon Diggs is going to visit with the New England Patriots and that he may not be ready for week 1, recovering from a torn ACL even if he does sign in New England. The Texans signed Danielle Hunter, 1 year, $35 million extension that makes him the second highest paid defensive end in the NFL. The NFL owner meetings are in 10 days. Some proposals that came out yesterday. We knew about the Packers banning the tush push, wanting to. The Lions are proposing whichever team has the better record is the home team in the playoffs, regardless of who won the division. Eagles propose making the regular season overtime the same as playoff overtime, which right now, regular season different. Both teams don't automatically have a chance to possess the football. Sabres at Utah tonight. That's a 9 o'clock puck drop, their first ever trip to Utah. We'll have pregame starting at 8 here on WGR. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of business.
We've seen a lot of players that struggle in year one for the Bills, and year two they take a big step, and maybe that's the case with Dwayne Carter, and I'm sure he feels that, right? I mean, he knows that he's got probably a 6-week window to really show himself, and if he plays well, I mean, he was going to have an opportunity to command a nice role for this defensive line rotation. I mean, at the end of the day, Ogunjobi is a one-year player. Dwayne Carter is the second-year rookie that they've invested a top 100 pick in. That would be really helpful if he can materialize on the promise of what he showed at Duke as kind of a penetration-style player. Big opportunity for him in those first 6 weeks to either claim a role or kind of be pushed to the side.
Joe Marino from Locked On Bills on with me and Jeremy yesterday on Dwayne Carter, who he's not been super high on since last season, but was a top 100 pick, as he mentioned, third rounder, and hasn't really got off the ground to the point where the talk is just replacing him at this point. 803-0550 is the phone number. It's Jeremy and Joe. The sun is out. It is tournament day, and it is the top 3, 4, 5 sports day of the year. One of the best sports days of the year. Awesome buzzer beaters, tons of games. That really is sports now, isn't it? The best sports experiences are the ones where there's a lot happening at the same time. Why do people love Red Zone? This is at least how I consume sports, because I got to have something happening at every second. One reason I can't just sit in front of a baseball game and watch it for 3 hours, I know they're shorter now, is there's not enough happening. There's not enough happening. I'm going to, between pitches, I'm going to look at my phone, I might not look back up for 3 pitches, and then I'm going to grab a book or whatever. Like, I'm going to be doing something else. Whereas you got to hold my attention. I need constant action. Got to have it. I don't want breaks. So, Red Zone, bang, 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 play, touchdown, just one after the other, tons of different games. That's golf broadcasting, too. You don't really think of golf this way, but golf is the original Red Zone. I don't follow, you can do this now, right? Like the ESPN Plus packages have it, where you can just follow like one golf group. But what's a traditional golf broadcast? It's Red Zone. It's, we're going to take you over here to the 17th where there's a shot, and now this shot over here is the 13th. And hey, someone just hit a hole-in-one on 11, so we're going over to 11. It's basically Red Zone. And that is why March Madness is such the phenomenon that it is. It's, to me, not really that the game itself is super high quality. It has its fans, And there might even be more people, in fact, I almost think definitely, there would be more sports fans that would say they like the college basketball product more than the NBA product. Just on the style of the game, not the volume of games, just one game. Because there is more of a team aspect to it, and there are more set plays, right? I personally like the NBA more, though, because I know it's more talented individuals, and you get a lot more dunking. You get a lot more three-point shooting from the moon. Guys that are going nuclear in games, Curry and, Luka, it doesn't matter who. And you don't get that always in college basketball. But why do I like watching the college product better? It's because I'm getting 1,000 games at once. And when you're increasing the volume of games, you are almost guaranteed to get something crazy happening. And that's why it's March Madness. I'm explaining the formula here. It's not hard to figure out. That to me should be true, though, across all sports. Like my top days of the year for sports are the ones where there is a lot happening. Week 1 of the NFL to me is one of the best days of the year. I like it more than Super Bowl Sunday and Championship Sunday. I want all the games. I want football from beginning to end. And today is going to be that. Today really, is college basketball the only other sport that has the just commit a full day to one thing where, like, it's not something I would be proud of, but, I do enjoy once in a while, and of course on Sundays during the year, let me just plop myself on the couch for 10 hours and watch every second of this thing. Not move. That could be even longer in the NFL if you started at a 9 a.m. London game. I'm going to do this one thing the whole day. And that's not hockey. That's not NBA. When you get to the finals, that's the best NBA I think you get, and that's not that. That's not going to be, maybe it is golf a little bit, but golf's more one you pop in and out of. Versus today is like the NFL Sundays. Just plop down at noon. All the numbers of people that call off on the first day of the tournament. It's the only other sport I think we really do this. Commit the full day to it. So today will be a lot of fun. 803-0550 is the phone number. Sal just texted in. This is good. Thanksgiving and Christmas. NFL on Thanksgiving and NBA on Christmas. NFL on Christmas a little bit now too, but more so NBA. And I think Thanksgiving especially is a good answer for that. The difference there, though, is you've got a lot of other things happening on Thanksgiving, right? You got the meals, you're spending time with family, but that's a good answer. Very excited for today. Josh, you said you're having trouble making your picks this year?
Oh, yeah. I don't know what it is, but I'm just all over the place this year. I'm picking only the favorites. I'm picking only the higher seeds, and I don't know why.
You're just going chalk? None of the Cinderella potential teams are screaming out to you?
Yeah, but I hate doing it because it just feels wrong. It doesn't feel like you're in the spirit of March Madness then.
But if you win.
Right, but if you win, it doesn't matter. But
it depends how far you're going with it. Like as Jeremy said earlier, if you're picking 4 1 seeds, then you're really not in the spirit of the thing. Well, but if you've got like 2 1 seeds, a 2 seed, and a 4 seed, like to me what is the right number? You should figure this out. To really be in the spirit of your bracket pool, what should the total combined number be for your 4 seeds? You know what I mean? So 4 1 seeds, your number is 4. You got to be higher than that. What about 7? 5, 6, 7? Maybe it's not that high. Maybe it should just be like 5 or 6. Like, all right, buddy, you've got 3 1 seeds and a 2 seed. Okay. I mean, if that person's in your pool, like I'm not doing anything about it, and they don't have to win. In fact, their likelihood is they won't win. But yeah, I'm not against what you're doing. As long as if you pick 4 1s, then like okay. But almost anything other than that, I think you're okay. I'm doing the same. Like my strategy, I am not someone that watches college basketball really until March. I'll watch the conference tournaments a little bit, but nothing in the regular season. So I don't know what Drake has going on when they play Missouri. I don't know anything about Utah State ahead of UCLA. My method is the spreads. I want to look at the spreads and I want to figure out because I'm trying to pick my upsets based on something that feels realistic. So I'll look through and go, ooh, UC San Diego, who I think are they a 13 seed, right? UC San Diego?
Yes, they are. Yep.
Why? I'll look at the lines and go, why are they only a 2.5 point underdog
they're 12,
against Michigan?
A 12 seed, I'm sorry.
12 seed, thanks. Why are they only a 2.5 point underdog against Michigan? And then I'll look and go, only 22% of the users are picking San Diego. 2.5 point underdog, 22%. I'm going to be a part of that 22%. That's my method, is just doing it by the spreads.
I've been using,
is that a lame way of doing it?
I've been using ESPN's bracket thing this year, and they have like a bar graph or like a meter of like percentage chance to win, and that's kind of what I've been basing mine off of.
Their FPI or whatever, like the power indexes.
Yeah. And it's like if it's above like a 30% chance, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll pick the upset here, because like I mean, you look at Florida and Norfolk State. Norfolk State has a 1% chance to win that game, according to ESPN. So that one's like one of those like no-brainers, but at the same time, hey, maybe not.
Yeah,
it is March Madness.
803-0550. Glenn in Toronto's next. What's up, Glenn?
Yeah, guys, good morning. More or less, I'm in the same boat as you. I didn't watch as much college ball as I normally do this year. I filled out my bracket this morning, chose Duke to win it all, but a lot of my info, I think a lot of it I got from the selections show last Sunday and also reading up on ESPN, but I threw in mostly a couple of long shots, including the one you just mentioned there over Michigan. But mostly, I looked at record, and chose my teams then, eh?
Yeah.
But still, I love the tournament. It's my favorite time of the year watching basketball.
Yeah. Thanks, Glenn. No, it's amazing. See, I'm someone that likes to do a little homework on it too. Like I said, I look at the spreads. I'll do a little more than that, but it's mostly that. But you could just randomly pick it and end up doing just as well or better. That's why it's crazy. I was in a big pool a couple of years ago. Was this 2 years ago now? Where one of my buddy's wife, who watches like the tournament a little bit, but same as me, like not watching anything during the season, I'm sure. And she was like one of the top 8 scorers on the whole Yahoo site 2 years ago. Like, there was an outcome in the national championship, I think, where she could have won the whole thing. Like, number one out of millions and millions of people.
That's crazy.
That wasn't looking through analytics and film on these teams. Like, ooh, what's the point guard situation for Tennessee? I don't think that's happening.
What's your whole thought on everything going on with North Carolina?
What about?
Like, just... the way they got in and how everyone thought, why are they in? Why are they making it? And now that's like, you look at, if you want to go by your spreads, North Carolina's favored over Ole Miss.
Total BS to me that they got in. I don't care about anything they do after the tournament. Good for them if they're doing the whole, that every team does this when they're being doubted. North Carolina against the world. Are they doing that?
Probably.
They won their game huge in the first 4. It doesn't mean they deserve to get in.
No, I'm just curious. Like,
but that's the controversy, and the controversy is that their AD is like one of the big people on even the chairman, right, of the committee. Mm-hmm. And he recuses himself and goes out of the room. Well, he's coming right back in the room in 10 minutes. So the people in that room, if he comes back in and they don't want an awkward moment. I don't think it. Even though he's walking out of the room, I don't think it's a full recusal. So,
how are you picking
it's college
them,
sports
in the bracket?
That's how college sports goes.
Are you picking them to win, or are you picking them to at least win a round?
I haven't made that pick yet. I haven't filled out my whole bracket yet. I'm halfway through.
Yeah.
Anyways, 12:15 today. Louisville and Creighton kicks things off at 12:15. I wanted to get to the Bills division a little bit. We talked earlier about the Lions rule proposal that will come up at the NFL owner meetings. And I don't know that it's going to pass. I kind of hope it does, but I'm not really betting on it passing. We'll see. The rule the Lions proposed is that doesn't matter your division. If you won your division, if you have a better record and you didn't win your division, you are going to play at home against a division winner that has a lesser record than you, which would eliminate the possibility of what we had last year, where the Minnesota Vikings, a 14-win team, have to go on the road to start the playoffs against a team they have 5 more wins than because they didn't win their division. And we got into how, how impressive really is it winning your division? You're competing against 3 other teams, and I think there's a lot of good points in that. But here we are. This is the system, and if the Bills weren't such a great team, then maybe we would talk about this more as a rule that affects them, but we don't because they're a double-digit win team every year. And someone correct me if I'm wrong on this. I think this is, going into the year, the lowest expectations for the division around the Bills since they got great. And I don't even know that it's close. I mean, it seems like a foregone conclusion. We haven't even started the draft yet. Free agency's not all the way over. New England's got Diggs in for a visit today. We don't know what their roster is going to look like totally yet. What they're going to do at receiver. Might be Diggs. He might not be ready for week 1 anyway. We're so early in it. It's March. And is anybody at all worried in the slightest that the Bills don't win the AFC East this year? I don't hear any of that. I don't feel any of that. And I don't think any of it myself. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because where those 3 teams are in their trajectories after the Bills just cruised last season. No challenge whatsoever. Had it wrapped up a month in advance. Even though they weren't even favored to win the division before the season. It took, I think, a couple of months into the offseason, but there was a point where the Jets were the favorite to win the AFC East last year. Think back on that, how incredible that is. There was a time when you would go to bet on the AFC East division winner, and the Bills were second behind the Jets in the odds. So last year there was a belief that, all right, 2 teams, big challenges, Rodgers in New York, healthy again, Miami running it back. And Miami felt respectable in that way. All right, let's see what we got. Never before last year, though, was there more than 1 real challenger. And this year, it feels like there's going to be 0. And I want to know how likely that really is. And who's going to figure it out first. Because I do think 2 of the 3 are on the way up. I really, not to the point where this is not me telling you that the Bills might not win the division in 2025. I think they're going to, and I think they're going to by multiple games. But I do think 2 of the 3 teams are on their way. I don't know how far away they are. I've made this comp before. The Bills are, in Game of Thrones. They're on the Iron Throne right now, and in season 2 of that, they start hearing about the Dragon Queen on the other side of the world, and how we don't have to worry about that right now. Like, we know they're over there, we know they exist, but we don't have to worry about dragons yet, like crossing the sea, whatever. That's the Bills right now. There might be a Dragon Queen on the other end of the world, but they're on the other end of the world. That might be New England right now with Drake May, who was really impressive as a rookie, but how close are they to figuring it out? The other team I think is on the way up is the Jets, but they're at the ground floor of it. I just think ridding yourself of Aaron Rodgers and bringing in a coach that appears intent on cleaning up the culture of what's going on with the Jets. I mean, that they are an organization more than anyone that needs that type of coach. If I am an owner in the NFL, 9 times out of 10, what I would want my team to be looking for is the bright, young offensive play caller. That's what I want. I want the X's and O's. And the Jets feel like are the most prime example of, all right, that'd be nice, but you just got to have a guy and come and clean things up. You've had Nathaniel Hackett in there and all this drama, and you're just totally dysfunctional. A lot of it was because of the quarterback that was there. You just got to come in and get a professional coach that can ideally come in and clean things up. And I think Aaron Glenn is a pretty good candidate to do that. But same thing with the Jets. Like, I'm not worried about them now. I don't even know who their quarterback's going to be this year. Oh, it's going to be Fields. We do know that, right? They could draft one still, but it's going to be Justin Fields. Okay. Come on. That's not a serious threat. Might be a nice little team. Their best case scenario, maybe they push for a playoff spot, but I'm not worried about them. And then the other team I really wanted to get into here is the Dolphins. Because to me, Patriots and Jets, ground floor, still starting things up. They're not there yet, but they might be going in the right direction. To me, this is Miami's last dance. This is it. The Dolphins, to me, are so interesting this year because they have to win. New England's building up. Jets are starting over. Dolphins got to do it now. Because Tyreek Hill, there was already drama with him on the final day of the regular season, implying that he wants out of Miami, walked it back, got that situation in the right direction, the agent cleaned things up, and he's staying for now. But this is, I want to bet the last year that Tyreek Hill is going to be a Miami Dolphin, and we're not even sure if he's even great anymore. He had a down year last season, big time. Waddle can't stay healthy, and neither can Tua, and the coach is probably it. Like, this is it. You got to win now, or the owner probably moves on from you. All that could happen right now. They paid all these veterans. They paid Jalen Ramsey. They traded for Bradley Chubb. They've done all this maneuvering to challenge the Bills right now. They've done, in the last couple of years, they've been making moves to win the division on the immediate, and they haven't done it. And now I think this is their last chance at it, and I don't think they have a very good chance. They're really interesting because I really think they're a year away from maybe doing what the Jets just did. You know, semi-rebuild. You don't have to get rid of all your talented guys, but maybe a new coach, maybe a new identity, maybe you change out a bunch of roster spots, but not the elite guys at the top. Like, Miami's the one that I'm most interested in of the three because they've got to do it now. Or it's over. And again, as we run through these three teams, I don't see it for any of them. The Dolphins, it's the same story. I think on paper, they're the most talented team of the three. Sure, I could see them getting into the playoffs. But when it comes to challenging the Bills, they just don't have it. They can't beat the Bills straight up, head to head. They have a quarterback that you have to pencil in 3 to 5 missed games a year, which always sinks them. They're never able to overcome that. And he's only played one full season once out of 5 years. So odds are he's going to miss 3 or 4 games. And your top receiver is aging. To me, they missed their best shot. 803-0550 if you got a thought on the division around the Bills, your bracket strategy, how you go about it, how you make your picks, because we all know we're not real experts on this. Most of us aren't. Let me know what you think. It's Jeremy and Joe. We'll talk to a NCAA tournament expert coming up, or analyst at 9 o'clock. Locked On College Hoops. Isaac Shad is going to join us at 9, so we got a guest coming then, but time for your phone calls in the in-between. Sneaky Joe DiBiase. It's Jeremy and Joe. This is WGR.